Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown Live and WWE main event spoilers for this week. Happy birthday goes to Asuka. I missed that on from Raw, as well as Murphy. Their birthdays were September 26th. Happy birthday also goes to Kathy Kelly, who turned 28 years old on Tuesday. On Wednesday, September 28th, I'm doing this video on Wednesday, Steve Blackman, he was born in 1963, and also Jason Jordan from American Alpha, he was born in 1988, so figure out his age. Advertised dark main event from SmackDown was John Cena, Dean Ambrose, and Randy Orton versus AJ Styles, Bray Wyatt, and The Miz in six-man action. Devon Dudley began his backstage duties with WWE this past Sunday. Clash of Champions. Devon also worked Monday's Raw. And based on the photo, I'll show you there, it looks like he's now corporate, working both brands as he's producing. He was also in attendance for SmackDown. It's possible that he's working both brands while learning the job. Devon's still with WWE, but only as a producer. But right now he's doing both Raw and SmackDown tapings. I'll show you a picture as he's wearing a suit. I even commented to him on Twitter as a brother, as he's a preacher sometimes. So I told him, "Oh, my brother, testify!" Give him his own little gimmick catchphrase. He comments on Twitter, "Day 3 as a producer, and all is still going good. Thank you. Hashtag WWE Universe for all your well wishes. Hashtag SmackDown Cleveland." WWE was reporting that Kofi Kingston required 9 stitches after being cut during New Day versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson match on Monday's Raw. Apparently there were some photos, but I didn't get them. Kofi receiving medical treatment at you can look for him on WWE.com. Kingston appeared to be cut on a fairly routine bump in the into the ring steps. He continued the match with the proverbial crimson mask and won the match for his team. He was hoping it was just a cut, and he didn't suffer a concussion along with it. The following was sent last night from Mr. Mr. Anderson from TNA. Also, Sean Davairi from Minneapolis, Minnesota. They are opening a professional wrestling school called the Academy. They're opening its doors in the Twin Cities of Minnesota for its first class of students on November 1st, 2016. The Academy is owned and operated by former WWE and TNA Impact Wrestling superstars and champions Ken Anderson, aka Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Anderson, and Sean Davairi, aka Sheikh Abdul Bashir. It's Ken and Sean's goal to turn Minnesota back into breeding ground of the industry's top wrestlers such as Jesse the Body Ventura, Sean X-Pac Waltman, Road Warriors Hawk and Animal, Jerry Lynn, and many more. Kurt Angle, former WWE World Heavyweight Champion, TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and Olympic gold medalist, commented, "I've wrestled and trained with both Anderson and Davairi. They are exceptional wrestlers. The school they open will be one of the best in the world. They understand technique, psychology, and what it takes to be a superstar on the pro wrestling circuit. I highly advise anyone who has a goal of being a pro wrestling superstar, go to this particular school. You are in incredibly good hands." Well, that's Kurt Angle's. I would suggest try. If you're in Louisiana, why not go with Bubba Ray and Devon, their wrestling school? Well, more on that. Owner head trainer Ken Anderson exploded on the wrestling scene in 2006 as Ken Kennedy in WWE, where he wrestled in countless main events against the industry's legends such as The Undertaker, Batista, Ric Flair, and many more. Anderson went on to win the WWE U.S. Championship and the coveted Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania. In 2010, Anderson signed on with TNA Impact Wrestling, where the list of pro wrestling icons he competed against continued to grow, including Kurt Angle, Bully Ray, Bubba Ray, and defeating both Sting and Jeff Hardy to become a two-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Colt Cabana comments, former WWE superstar, two-time Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion, host of the Art of Wrestling podcast. First off, training with Ken and Sean is a no-brainer. Being a Midwesterner, when I was trying to train to become a pro wrestler, there was nobody with TV and international experience coaching. This is an incredible opportunity for people with no experience to even pro wrestling veterans. Both Sean and Ken are great friends of mine in wrestling and have minds that can mold. Again, a no-brainer. Well, owner head trainer Sean davairi first garnered international exposure in 2004 when he signed with WWE as davairi. Sean worked many pay-per-views and main events for both Raw and SmackDown brands against the main eventers and Hall of Famers like John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, and even Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania. In 2008, davairi started touring with All Japan Pro Wrestling across Eastern Asia and signed a contract with TNA Wrestling. Competing under the name of Sheikh Abdul Bashir, davairi was able to capture the TNA X Division Championship live on pay-per-view. In 2010, davairi returned to Ring of Honor, where could be seen wrestling on the weekly TV program ROH on HDNet, live events and pay-per-views. In 2015, davairi signed with Lucha Underground, where he would be known as Delavar Daivari. Anderson and davairi have also brought into the Academy former WWE Women's Champion Molly Holly, WWE WCW New Japan Eric Cannon from ROH, PWG, and Dragon Gate, and Area davairi, WWE Cruiserweight Classic, NXT, ROH to help assist with training as coaches. And here's what they are highlighting of. In-ring training, coaching of new and established male and female wrestlers, referees, managers, and valets from ages 16 and over. Training ring, 400 square foot of grappling mat, and interview / promo studio with high definition broadcast and review capability. Guest trainers, regularly invited guest trainers, including former and current WWE and TNA Impact Wrestling legends and Hall of Famers, developmental coaches, and international wrestling superstars. Guest trainer seminars available to enlisted students as well as established professional wrestlers. Strength and conditioning. 3 staff personal trainers certified with the International Science of Sports Medicine and National Academy of Sports Medicine to create athletic and fitness programs. Certified diet nutrition specialist in charge of creating custom meal plans for enlisted students. Sports rehabilitation. An athletic trainer available during training as well as physical therapy available to students by National Academy of Sports Medicine. Certified corrective exercise specialist. Industry contacts. Upon graduation of training, staff members will help facilitate work for new students, meaning you can get a TNA or WWE tryout. Extensive network of promoters and management in the United States, including officials at WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, and independent promotions across the nation. Network of international promoters and management in Mexico, Japan, Europe, Australia, and Puerto Rico today. A majority of the professional wrestling industry's top superstars broke into the business through independently owned and operated wrestling schools in the United States. The Academy School of Professional Wrestling, we are offering our inaugural class of students a limited time first class special, knocking 66% off of a regular tuition price of $3,000 down to only $1,000. Limited spots available. Offer ends on Halloween. For more info and to enlist today, please visit theacademyprowrestling.com. I'll even put that link in there for you. telephone number. I'll put all that in there as well. I'll put it all in there. The Academy Pro Wrestling at gmail.com. Go to the website, www.theacademymyprowrestling.com. And also the Academy Pro Wrestling on Facebook, as well as Twitter, the Academy SOPW. And on Instagram, the Academy My Pro Wrestling. Let's see, Academy Pro Wrestling. Like I said, I'll post it all for you. After suffering an ankle injury back in June, NXT superstar Elias Sampson will be returning to the ring this coming week. NXT Twitter account announced today, Tuesday, that Sampson will be in action at Thursday's live event in Lakeland, Florida. WWE Music officially released Sin Cara's new entrance theme. And on YouTube, go to that link. Summer Rae is currently in China. Well, she's also injured. Perhaps doing promotional work for WWE. As recently reported, she's been out of action with a neck injury, elbow, and back issues. Square Circle Sirens is reporting that four horsewoman, Shayna Baszler, is at WWE tryouts in Orlando, Florida this week. Former UFC bantamweight has been wrestling since September of 2015 and won the AIW Women's Championship a couple of weeks ago, which her horsewoman partner, Ronda Rousey, attended, as seen in this video link. US Weekly has a story here about I'll post it after this. With Eve Torres sharing a photo below on her Instagram. Torres told US Weekly that she struggled with body image issues after her son was born last year. Well, the picture from the magazine actually shows. I'll post the link for the magazine and the Instagram. She says on Instagram, as someone whose profession relies heavily on physical activity, I definitely felt extra pressure to get back to my pre-baby shape. She told Us Weekly. But the truth is, I don't know a mom who doesn't feel the pressure to bounce back after giving birth. Instagram.com, Eve Torres Gracie. Christopher Daniels appeared on Sirius Radio show Busted Open with Doug Mortman and Dave LaGreca. During the interview, Daniels was asked about what he thought about some of his former Ring of Honor and TNA colleagues succeeding in WWE. And here's the highlights. Doug Mortman asked, I kind of have to smack myself that AJ is a WWE World Champion. Samoa Joe is doing his thing with NXT. Bobby Roode is over there. Austin Aries is over there. Kevin Owens is a Raw Champion. Do you think about that and how things have changed with pro wrestling and the overall landscape? Well, Christopher comes back and says, absolutely, man. I mean, all those guys that you mentioned, they had the talent to be there 5 years ago, but it took a change in an attitude at the very top for them to even be considered. That's a positive change that I believe they've made, giving the opportunity to guys who basically got all their experience on the independent scene around the world and in TNA. Kevin Owens had his big run in Ring of Honor before he went there to WWE. But you look at at guys like Bobby Roode and Austin Aries and Samoa Joe and AJ, in addition to the independent scene, in addition to doing international tours. They did a lot of TNA. They went to the NXT system and proved that they were ready, and they just needed that opportunity to be seen. That change in attitude at the top to change from, oh, these guys are persona, not grata. Now they recognize that. Oh, these guys have experience and they can come in, not right away, but certainly on a fast track and become amazing players at this level. For me, one of the greatest as a friend to them, watching Samoa Joe become NXT champion as quickly as he did, and hopefully he'll get an opportunity to move on to the main roster sooner rather than later. Being able to see that happen for him was a great pleasure for me. It goes without saying the same thing about AJ becoming WWE champion. And if he had said that even a year ago, I think people would have looked at you differently. Now it seems so obvious And right there, AJ Styles should have the biggest prize in pro wrestling wrapped around his waist. Full interview, another from this link. I'll post it during the whole thing. WWE has confirmed December 4th TLC pay-per-view for the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. Tickets go on sale this coming Saturday at Ticketmaster.com. What does Tori Wilson look like now? Go to this link. Stunningly great as she salutes Richard Simmons. Of course, she's a little bit darker blonde, sandy blonde from when she was in WWE. Dark match before SmackDown tapings in Cleveland saw Jack Swagger defeat Aiden English of the Wild Villains. First report of the main event spoilers posted by Mark on Twitter at This Is Mark. Following matches were taped for SmackDown for the main event. Apollo Crews defeating Tyler Breeze. Kane defeated Baron Corbin. More detailed for the main event taping. From the second one, Jack Swagger went over Aiden English with Simon Gotch in the corner. Main event spoilers. Apollo Crews over Tyler Breeze. No Fandango. Crews won an 8-minute match. Kane defeated Baron Corbin by disqualification. Corbin hit Kane with a chair for the disqualification in a 7-minute match. Dark main event. Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler over Bray Wyatt and Miz in about 5-minute match. WWE returning to Cleveland on January 23rd, 2017 for Raw. SmackDown opened with a quick promo before going to the opening video package. We're live from Cleveland with Mauro Ranallo, David Otunga, and JBL. Go right to the ring. Out comes Randy Orton to the pop. Orton addresses Bray Wyatt and says Bray does things he does because he's afraid. Orton says it's nothing to be ashamed of because people are afraid of many things. Heights, spiders, and snakes. And snakes. Crowd hyped for that. Orton says Wyatt is afraid of him. Orton says there's been enough sneak attacks. He calls Wyatt to the ring if he's a man enough to come face to his fears. The lights flash on and we go to backstage somewhere to Wyatt. Wyatt cuts a promo about how he's a god and this is his world. He sings his normal song. He's got the whole world in his hands. Wyatt says he makes the rules and Orton is in no position to make demands. If Orton wants to hurt Wyatt, he better hurry because the sands of time, as he's holding an hourglass. Wait for no mortal man. Wyatt is holding the hourglass. He starts singing, I got the whole world in my hands. Orton takes off and heads to the back, and it looks like he's going Wyatt hunting. Shh, I'm hunting Wyatt. Announcers hype tonight's main event. Charlie Caruso approached Dean Ambrose backstage and asked what's going through his mind. He says a lot is going through his mind, but this is the PG show. Ambrose calls his win over John Cena last week old news, just like Cena is. Ambrose says he's going to turn the face that runs the place into the guy that's going to cry when he takes back the WWE World title. Still to come segment, big 8-man tag team match. We go to commercial. American Alpha, Heath Slater and Rhino versus Ascension and the Usos. Back for the break. SmackDown Tag Team Champions Heath Slater and Rhino are out as America Alpha awaits in the ring with the Ascension. Usos out. We're out next with the new theme song. That was not on YouTube yet. Probably on iTunes soon. Jason Jordan started the match with slams Jimmy Uso. Chad Gable tagged in, worked Jimmy's arm. Gable slammed Uso and Jordan come back in. Uso nailed a forearm and a chop. Uso runs into an uppercut. Jordan with a takedown for a 2 count. Uso backs Jordan into the corner and then comes in Jay for some double teaming. Jordan lands on his feet and tags in Gable. Usos get hit with a double team monkey flip by American Alpha. Gable gets an armbar on the top rope applied to Uso. Gable fights both Usos off, but Jay takes out the leg with a chop block. Gable sells a leg injury as the Usos stand tall, and we go to commercial. After the break, Victor and Connor Ascension are double teaming Gable in the corner. Connor covers for a 2 count, goes back to working him over. Jimmy tags back in and beats on Gable in the corner as the referee warns him. Victor tags in, but Gable sends him to the floor. Connor rushes in, and he also gets dropped. Gable keeps getting closer to a tag, but the Ascension pulls Jordan off the apron. Rhino takes him out to the floor. Gable gets a close tag again, but Uso stops him. They both go down, and in comes Slater off the tag. Slater unloads on Jay as the fans pop. Slater with a high knee. Victor comes in, and Slater nails him too. Slater with a neck breaker on Uso for a 2 count as Connor breaks the pinfall. Gable and Rhino take out Connor. Victor gets a huge uppercut on Rhino. Jordan sends Victor over the top to the floor. Slater dodges a super kick and rolls Jay up for a 2 count, but Jimmy breaks it with a super kick. Usos double team Slater and takes out his left knee from behind. Jimmy wraps Slater up in a single leg crab for the win. Winners of the match, Usos and the Ascension. After the match, the Hills leave together as we go to replays. They talk the baby faces from the floor as they recover in the ring. And then we see John Cena walking backstage. Cena approaches him. The Caruso approaches him for comments and says Cena will be at ringside for tonight's main event. Cena will be watching the match very closely, but using it to prepare to make history at No Mercy because he will finally be able to say the 16-time champ is here. Walks off. We see Maurice and WWE Intercontinental Champion Miz backstage. He's having a photo of himself put over a photo of LeBron James. Fans boo. His big homecoming celebration will be later. Wyatt's graphic flashes as we go to backstage to some strange as Randy Orton is looking for Bray Wyatt. Somewhere strange. It says, apparently following a path Wyatt has set up. Orton takes a wrong turn, and we see Eric Rowan. Back to commercial. Back from the break, we see Bray Wyatt. He taunts Orton and says he never was good at following directions. The clock is still ticking. Carmella and Natalya versus Naomi, and Nikki Bella was up next. We go to the ring. Carmella was out with Natalya. We get a pre-recorded video where Carmella knocks Nikki Bella. Back to the ring. Out comes Naomi first for her team. With a bright light. And all. Neon bright lights. Nikki Bella was out next. Back from the break, Natalya stays Naomi on the floor to start with a Michinoku driver. She brings it back in for a 2 count. Carmella ends up coming in and keeping up the attack on Naomi. Carmella with her version of the Bronco Buster for a 2 count. Natalya comes back in for a double suplex and then another pin attempt. Natalya gets for a few more minutes of good offense on Naomi. Naomi finally gets a tag, and comes Nikki. She floors Natalya and nails a drop kick. Nikki with a kick out of the corner for a 2 count. Carmella nails Nikki in the back from the apron as she goes down. Carmella tags, but Nikki brings her over the top rope. Nikki goes on and scoops Carmella, but gets raked in the eyes. Carmella kicks Naomi off the apron. Nikki takes Carmella to the floor. Natalya provides an assist, but Nikki drops her with a big right hand. Carmella takes advantage and rolls Nikki up for the win. Back from the break, Carmella's talking trash as Natalya joins her on the ramp. We've got a replays. Nikki and Naomi look on from the ring as the winners taunt them again. We go backstage to Orton, still on the path to finding Wyatt. We see one way out. Choose wisely. Scrawled on an electrical box. Orton opens the door and sees a cardboard stand-up of himself with eyes cut out and lit up. Orton turns around and goes another way. He sees Predator or Prey written on a sheet. Orton looks in another room and there's Eric Rowan again. It looks like Orton turns back around and walks off, but it looks like a handle is shaking on one of the doors he avoided. Or maybe it's the door Rowan was behind. This is getting a bit silly now. That whole segment, my screen, since it was all dark, all black, they didn't have any lights or what have you, you couldn't see much of it. Back to commercial break. Well, after the commercial, out comes Intercontinental Champion The Miz and Maurice for the Cleveland Homecoming celebration. The ring has red apron cover and large photo of Miz on display. Pyro goes off stage as they enter the ring. Maurice gives her husband a grand introduction before a video package on his career plays. The reporter messed that up. They put Miz gave her husband. Okay, that's Maurice. We come back and Miz announces that he's home to a mixed reaction. He brings up Cleveland Cavaliers, gets a huge turnout when they won the NBA championship. And this is all he gets. He knocks LeBron James and the fans before bragging on his never-ending tour. Miz introduces the only two decent people in the crowd and asks them to stand at ringside. His mom and dad. Fan chant, Mr. Hero, it sounds like. Apparently for a restaurant Miz's dad owns. Well, he acknowledges this on the mic. Miz also points out that Dolph Ziggler's parents are at ringside. He says this must be tough for them as they raise a world-class loser. Ziggler's music hits and out he comes to the ring in a hurry. Ziggler's fired up. They have words and he says Miz cheated to beat him. Ziggler tells Miz to enjoy his tainted title and enjoy the parade. He goes to leave, but Miz starts in on the mic. Miz says Ziggler just keeps losing and losing. Then asks, when will he just stop? Miz says Ziggler's career makes him absolutely sick, and he would be embarrassed if it were his. Miz says Ziggler, his parents, his friends, and his city should all be embarrassed of his career because he's done nothing as of late. Well, he's also from Cleveland. Everybody's from Cleveland. Miz says Ziggler just loses and keeps losing. Miz actually feels sorry for him. Miz says he's done here and mocks Ziggler for asking for title shots, saying he won't give Ziggler another because Ziggler has nothing else that matters. Miz says everything else is done for Ziggler. Done for him. Miz says he's done. Unless he's going to give up his career. Miz has nothing else to say. Fans boo as he leaves with Maurice. Miz stops at ringside to taunt Ziggler's parents again. Ziggler tells Miz to stop. He says Miz is right. The ring is all he has. This is his everything. He lives for this, and this is what he loves. Sometimes things you love don't always love you back. You can give and give and give and give, but sometimes you get nothing back in return. Ziggler goes on and says he thought he would be a bigger star, but he just can't stop himself. He tells Miz, no, put the title up just one more time. Fans chant one more time, and Ziggler looks emotional. Ziggler says if Miz puts the title up, he will put his entire career up. Miz comes back to the ring and wants to make sure Ziggler will be done with WWE because of him. Ziggler says he either walks out champion or he's done. Miz proposes a match for No Mercy and says if Ziggler isn't willing to hang up his career, he will hang it up for him. Miz leaves the ring with the title in the air. As the fans boo, Ziggler looks on and looks down. As we see Dean Ambrose backstage, we go to commercial. Backstage warming up. Back for the rate, we go to Bray Wyatt. Again, he tells Orton to be careful as he's watching. We go to ring, out comes SmackDown's Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. She's attacked from behind and laid out on the stage by Alexa Bliss. Bliss unloads on Becky and leaves her laying, grabbing the title and saying she doesn't deserve it. And this is where we get our Kurt Hawkins, another Kurt Hawkins vignette. Hawkins says he's making a big announcement next week. Back to commercial. Back from the break, and there's another backstage segment with Wyatt. He asks where Orton is and calls him a coward. Wyatt thinks Rowan is standing behind him, but we see the person is wearing Orton's hoodie. Orton lifts the sheep mask and beats Wyatt down, but he escapes. Orton kneels down and puts the sheep mask back over his face. Orton starts singing in his hands as the camera shakes as his laugh is distorted. Camera fades from Orton in the mask to Wyatt sitting there with a straight face. Announcers are shocked. AJ Styles backstage walking when Charlie approaches him for comments on the main event. AJ says tonight is much bigger and more grand than the debate. AJ says he's already beat up John Cena and beat up Dean Ambrose to get here, and tonight he's going to beat up Ambrose again and keep the title. And that matches up in your main event. We go to the ring, out comes John Cena for commentary, back to commercial, back for a break, out comes Dean Ambrose. This Styles was out afterwards. We get formal ring introductions from Greg Hamilton. Bell rings and Ambrose unloads on AJ. Ambrose goes corner to corner and drops AJ with a chop. Ambrose more chops in the corner now. Referee warns him. Ambrose drags AJ's face across the rope. AJ comes back and kicks Ambrose, but gets clotheslined over the top to the floor in front of the announcers. Ambrose tosses AJ on top of the table and beats on him in front of Cena and the announcers. Ambrose goes back in the ring and stands tall as we go to commercial, with Cena reminding us that Ambrose can't win the title on a countout. Back from the break, AJ has Ambrose down in a headlock. Ambrose fights up and out, but they both collide in the middle of the ring and go down. Double crossbody. They both get up, and Ambrose looks to make a comeback. Ambrose catches AJ in the air and slams him over his knee for a 2 count. Ambrose gets to the top, has to roll through when he jumps over. More back and forth action as Ambrose knocks AJ from the apron into the barrier. Ambrose nails a big dive out, and both are down on the floor. Ambrose brings it back in the ring, but AJ rolls back out to the other side. Ambrose climbs up, nails a big elbow drop to the floor. Go back to a commercial break. Back from the break, they go at it again. AJ gets calf crusher locked in, but Ambrose eventually breaks out. More back and forth. Ambrose with a swinging neck breaker. They trade shots in the middle of the ring. They trade more holds, and Ambrose drops AJ on his face for a 2 count. Ambrose takes AJ to the top, but AJ comes back down. AJ took control and goes for another pin attempt. Ambrose gets close to a 2 count after a big clothesline for the top. Fan chant, "This is awesome," as Cena goes on and on about why he feels good about his chances at No Mercy. Styles drops Ambrose with a Pele kick. AJ goes to the apron, springboards in, but misses 450 as Ambrose moves. Ambrose goes to the top, hits the elbow drop for a 2 count. Ambrose ends up going out after Styles on the floor, but lands bad on his leg, and Styles nails a running knee to the head. Styles brings AJ back in, but turns around out of nowhere and decks Cena. AJ springboards in, but Ambrose ducks. Cena hits the ring, but the referee holds him off at the apron. Ambrose has AJ rolled up, but the referee is distracted with Cena. AJ kicked out. Ambrose is pissed as he goes right to the floor and nails Cena for costing him the title. This leads to AJ rolling Ambrose up for the win. After the bell, Cena hits the ring and argues with Ambrose as AJ leaves. Cena and Ambrose get in each other's face. Ambrose kicks him for dirty deeds, but Cena hits the attitude adjustment. Counters him. Cena turns around to Styles, but he blocks and slams him with an attitude adjustment. Cena raises the world title as the fans pop, and as music plays, we go to replay. SmackDown goes off there with Cena on stage while AJ and Ambrose recover in the ring. After SmackDown went off the air, Dolph Ziggler and Randy Orton defeated The Miz and Bray Wyatt. After the match, Dolph Ziggler cut a promo and said if it's the last time he performs in front of the Cleveland fans, he just wants to say the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead. Thanks to Wrestling 8 for the news, and one of the readers, Austin, for the results. Well, that concludes my SmackDown and main event video for this week. See what I want to be. By the way, if you don't know, just call me brothers and sisters.